out to the Say community and the Say Foundation for making this show possible. Say.io. And now, let's get on to the show with Clemente.
So if you're already, like, let's assume you're already making good content, right? You're making good videos. Knowing how to play the Twitter game on top of that in terms of people you're replying to, people you're interacting with, what keywords you're optimizing for. If you're very aware of that and you know how to play that game, you can.
So give me the secret sauce over here. Give me the give me like the insider info.
Well, it's like, so when you look at Twitter in general as a social media versus Instagram and TikTok, right? Like the way TikTok and Instagram works, you basically just need to optimize for one core metric or two core metrics. It's people that watch your video versus swipe away. You want as many people that see the initial screen to watch that. And then you want average view duration of each viewer to be as high as possible. As long as you do that and you're targeting and you know what niche you're targeting, your video should actually do pretty well. Like even if you have 0 followers. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts kind of take care of the distribution to mostly. On Twitter, it's not only kind of how much time people spend on your tweet. On top of that, it's also like your content gets scored basically on like, okay, how many people are watching your video that see it? How many people are actually watching the entirety of the video, profile visits, engagement, etc. But on top of that, the distribution is handled on, hey, what's he talking about? Like, who is he tagging? What copy is in the video? Who are you interacting with on a day-to-day basis? Like if you're replying to Thread Guy and you're replying to Ansem or whatever, they're more likely to see your content. So that's why replies are so important on the day-to-day basis if you really want to go hard on that. The last thing is also if you have a keyword of like, let's say you have the ticker MOG on your video. That's going to get served to the entire MOG community, basically. Or if I tag Ansem in something or Kook Capital or someone that's more polarizing, people that interact with their content will get served to it. So you can kind of manufacture better distribution is what I'm saying.
Cheers, by the way. Thank you for coming. This was sugar-free Red Bull.
Let's go.
Not sponsored, requested by Clemente, the one and only. I can't believe how obsessed you are with this, with the algo. That's crazy, dude.
Almost to like a fault because sometimes that's my way of coping with not doing content. Like instead of creating a video or whatever, I'll just go study, like get hyper obsessed with the algorithm. When in reality, the thesis should be as long as you're making good content, your distribution should be fine.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't know. Like there's some value there, but it's really hard to be so focused on something you can't control.
Well, the theory is you can control it, and like that's why the videos you like when I was looking at your content, for example, I think playing the content game more could lead to better distribution. Like I think.
All right, so give me the juice over here. The consult. I'm hiring you. Let's take my account to the next level. 100K.
Well, in general, I think you should engage with people more. People that reply to your videos, you should reply back. You should interact a lot more with them. You should also have you don't have to spend that much time. You can spend 20 minutes a day basically scrolling through your Twitter timeline and like responding to people. You also should repost old content, like embed tweet it like 2 to 3 times a week. Jakey does a good job of that, Soul Jakey. And then having some of a shock effect, like variety in your content, I think would help. Like the problem with Twitter is that the same setting gets repetitive. So like mixing it up, I've found is more interesting. So instead of, and you've done that a good amount, but like you've done the mirror one and then you'll do the car one. But like if you do 4 or 5 car videos, the first 2 car videos will have the highest kind of shock factor because people haven't been expecting it, versus the last 3 will have less of an impact.
Yeah, I mean, so you said replying. I feel like I do reply quite a bit. I don't know. What else do you say? Reposting. Yeah, one problem I have with reposting is that the Twitter search function is really bad. And I have a really hard time finding old videos. And I do often want to repost, like something just even today, like there was a Wells notice. And I did make a video about Wells notice. And I did try to repost it, but I'm like searching for it and I can't find it. So I agree with you. I don't know how I could do better on that one. And then what was the last thing you said? Different settings. A lot of the times, though, the way that I produce content is I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So I just have to do it and the reason I do it in the car is because it's the only place I can go like crazy like that, right? If I'm doing it by the mirror, it's because like I have a like I'm not running down to the like, you know, like I'm in the house, you know what I mean? So yeah, but I also don't think that I think that it's more about, yes, creating a hook is really important, but I find that my best videos are ones where I'm just talking. It's like what I'm saying and how I deliver it.
Yeah. It's also like being topical, like that video. I mean, that video,
contextual, exactly,
that video
yeah.
crushed of the Middle East one last week. That was like, I saw that, I was like, oh, let's go. This thing's gonna cook.
Yeah,
this thing's gonna cook.
Yeah, that was a lot for me for sure. Just like on a video, like just yeah, it was a lot of views. I don't know,
You
a lot of
crushed
engagement.
It was good. It was a good video. It was a good video, and it had a blend of controversy that an emotion. Like people saw that and they feel some sort of way about it. It's an emotionally charged kind of topic, but the way you tackled it was fantastic. And that's what I sometimes like don't do enough of, is like being intentional about like really trying to like go crazy with something to make people. You don't want everyone to necessarily agree with it. You want someone calling you cringe. You want someone saying you're a dumbass. You want like that layer of it, because that extra fire is actually kind of what you want.
But like, I didn't think about that video too much. Like what happened? I came right out of jiu-jitsu, out of the sauna. And I knew it was a good time to, like, I was, like, warm. It's, like, a good time to make a video. And also, something that Nick told me was, like, now I'm trying to do that 11 o'clock a.m. Nick says to post. But check the timestamp of that video, 10:59, okay? Which is interesting. So, yeah, I was just warm. And I didn't, a lot of the stuff I say, it's off the cuff.
It's a riff.
Yeah, like I don't think there was something like that I did think of before, the Khomeini Koom thing. It was like, I was laughing about that. So, I was like, I gotta say that, but like a lot of, yeah, it's like, and in that, like right before that, I cut it out, but I just poured a bunch of water on my head. So yeah, it's just, I think that the most important thing for me is just to do it consistently.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% being consistent, and I think just show, like what you do well is you show up authentically often, and that's what your advantage is you can just show up, and as long as you're consistent and you're doing these things on a consistent basis, being aware of who you are, you can crush it.
And that's the difference between focusing too much on the algorithm.
Yeah. I actually ran into a little bit of a mistake. Like, that was kind of one of the problems I had during the summer when I was living with my parents, and it was a different setting. Like, I can't go crazy with my parents. Like, I don't know.
Or you can't.
Or I can, and I don't give a shit. But I found myself creating less content and like hyper obsessing over the algorithm and all this stuff. When in reality, it's just like, dude, just create, just keep going.
That's yeah. Have you ever heard of the War of Art? Stephen Pressfield. It's a book that he writes about basically writing or any creative thing. It's about tapping into the muse. And what is the muse? The muse comes to you if you put in that work every single day. That's when the magic happens. It's about filling that page, even if it's garbage, right? Write it down. Put out the video. You don't know what's going to be good necessarily. I've put out so many fucking bad videos, like... And I don't know necessarily. I can see like, oh, this video is gonna suck before.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, and on that part, you were saying the creative side of it. The challenge I've been dealing with recently has been like realizing that I've never considered myself a creative person my whole life. By the way, I've never been like a wanting to get into the artistic side of things. I was always like, you know, in school, focused on getting good grades. It was sports, and that was it. Like I was never like, oh, let me get into theater, or I'm really interested in writing, or jokes or anything like that, or the arts. It was pretty much, I was just like messing around always. But recently I was like, oh, like if I want to create videos every day, that's a creative endeavor, and come up with all these things. So I've been trying to like figure out, oh, like what does it look like being a creative person, and setting aside time to like write things or like try to come up with jokes or funny things you can do is a different muscle that I've never had to try to like work before intentionally. I don't know how you navigate that, or if you just kind of riff on that end. But
the best thing that ever happened to me in school, one of the best things, this teacher, I think I was in 5th grade, Miss nikolocoplous. She made us write an essay every single day for like 2 months or something. Like an essay, like 1 page. And at the end, I was so good at writing essays, like I would stand in front of the class and read them, and everyone would laugh. It was like a comedy routine. So when you do something so often, you get better at it, and that's where the magic happens. You have to just put out the videos every single day, no matter what. Like, even if you're not feeling it, even if it's like like you think it's gonna be shitty or whatever, just put it out. It doesn't matter. Like, at the beginning, nobody was watching.
yeah,
And you know, there will be many videos where nobody watches. Fine, it's okay. Like, I don't think you don't need to overthink it.
But it comes from the wanting to get better and level up the craft, right? Like, I want my videos to get better. I want there to be more of an intricacy to how they're delivered. I want that level of improvement. And before, right, with any other skill, it was like, okay, want to get better at playing tennis, which is what I used to play. It was like literally go and play 5 hours every single day. Go practice the forehand, practice the backhand, practice it. Like it was like the output was like, oh, dude, I just sweat for 2 hours straight. Like, let's go. The effort was there versus this is like sitting there and thinking for like an hour and a half. You might have all terrible ideas, and it doesn't feel like
No. Thinking is garbage. You gotta write.
Right. No, I'm sitting there writing, trying to come up with something.
Are you writing or are you thinking?
I think, and I like write out ideas. Most of them are. I'm not a good.
No.
Yeah.
I would say do like this. Just write. Don't write out ideas. Just fill the page. 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 That's output, right?
So what do you when you write? You're just filling the page with what? With
For me,
Yeah.
I write in it like as a journal.
Got it.
And like things I need to do.
I do that,
Okay.
kind of.
I mean, I don't do it every day. I try to do it every day, but I feel like it makes me feel better, makes me feel more organized.
Interesting. So you sit down at a specific time. You're like, all right, I'm just gonna write kind of, hey, here's what I need to do. Here are some ideas that I have. Here's how I'm feeling, and just put it on a paper every single day, or you try to.
Yeah, not I would if I could do it every single day. I would like to do it every single day. I can't say that I do, but I do it often, and I enjoy it a lot. Like especially on my trip to Singapore. You were there.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote like 3 times a day. Like I was like, I want to make sure that I record as much as I can. And then after, what was interesting about that is that I wrote like so much of that I did a podcast just on my own, an hour and a half, just talking about the trip. So that's interesting how it's like doing that action. It can translate. I didn't even think of like, that wasn't my plan.
Yeah.
But it just worked out that way. But yeah, I think again, the journaling. So I do write for some of the videos, but like I don't know if you saw any of those like split screen videos.
Yeah, those are good.
So that I kind of had to write for because it's kind of like a dialogue, right? But yeah, again, I feel like for me, if I'm editing too much, it's not good. It's just put it out. You know, it's about what you say, what I say, how I say it.
That makes sense. And yeah, overall it's but like within the videos that you do, like what happened to those like mirror videos you would do where there's 2 people? Why'd you stop doing those, for example?
Just not inspired for any. I mean, I do it sometimes. I mean, I don't know, but like I've done a lot of things that I've.
Yeah. Well, my issue, what I've been kind of wrestling with recently is like for the last, because I've really only been doing this type of content where I'm just recording myself and I'm doing dumb shit or saying random stuff. I've been doing it for like 6 months, right? And initially there was no pressure to do it because it was just like I wasn't a creator. No one was expecting for me to do this. So I was like, it was just a cherry on top. It was like, I'm gonna post these dumb videos, and people seem to like them. People seem to resonate, so I did more of it. Fast forward to now, I think there's more of a like what's exhausting to me sometimes is like I don't have a real process. And if I want to take it to the next level, I'm like, okay, like literally what I've been doing this week, yesterday, I spent a good amount of time doing it, is like systematically being like, okay, I'm going to post this type of video once a week. I'm going to do this type of video me running that type of video once a week. I'm going to do like, so for you it would be 2 car videos, 2 whatever. And being more systematic. And I think there's a way to get like, build out that process to where the focus is not what am I posting, or instead it's I know I have to post this. How do I figure out the right output, the creative side of posting that versus creative plus the structure side of it?
That works for you. I don't think that would work for me though. Because again, like I couldn't have scheduled the Clemete rant. Like it doesn't work like that. It's not like. And also with the car video, the first car video was what I think it was Onseam versus Andrew Tate. You can't schedule like again if you're too regimented and you're like, oh, I have to do this, and then you're not gonna have those creative ideas. But again, it's all about what works for you, and I think that you and the BoDogs team. The
BoDoggos team.
The BoDoggos team. I don't know. Nick and Pio and the rest of the guys. Like you have a different approach, and if that works for you, that works for you. I mean, it's.
Well, we're all like. What's interesting about our dynamic is we all have really different approaches to content. We all serve kind of different niches, and like Easy, for example, is very analytical trading analysis, right? And like he's very smart. He's very like able to take a lot of information and condense it in a really simple way. It's very crypto Twitter friendly. Nick is more of a broad crypto
reality.
Yeah, like outlandish kind of, putting himself out there. Completely different than Easy, right? And Pio is going to start really, like, he's really starting to step into his creative side. Like, I'm excited for him to, like, really unleash himself in the next couple of months, but he's more of like really high production stuff that he enjoys doing. He's a really he might be like the most creative person out of all of us, and he's going to step into that in a big way. But it all kind of serves, everyone's a different creator, different processes and all of that. But when we're able to come together and, like, despite us being different types of creators, when we're all in the same room, it does lead to better content output versus, being isolated. And I think that's been my biggest struggle as a creator recently, has been being alone a lot, and being kind of trying to create on your own is different than when you're able to, like, bounce ideas off each other and, like, feed off the energy and come up with bits and all of that. Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to say you're way ahead of me in terms of your content creation. I've been putting out videos for almost 5 years at this point. So to be doing it 6 months already, and to have, you're on a different level.
Well,
you're on a fast track.
I appreciate that, but I think I also have, like, well, part of what I've been doing, right, and the growth that I've had has been, like, tapping into the right audience, and, like, the Twitter game has been, like, the biggest part of my growth. It's not because necessarily my content is better than yours. It's because for 3 months or 2 months, I was solely focused on saturating this niche that was blast gold farming. I found this ecosystem that was growing, and I was like, okay, if I can be the #1 creator there, I can, like, find a core group of people that are going to resonate and push my content, and I can break out from there. But there were no other creators there, so I was competing with basically, like, no other people that were doing entertainment side. And it was like, oh, it's Clemente, who is, like, this trader that I can basically relate with, because most people in crypto aren't good traders, right? And most crypto content is people that are good traders being like, look how much money I made. I was the opposite. I was like, look at how much money I'm losing. And I'm going to try to take on this challenge, which is to make $25,000 from this ecosystem. And it was being strategic with that has, I think, led to some of the growth I've had. But what you do really well is, like, even more than me, is you're so unapologetically yourself, and you're so self-aware with who you are, and no one else can replicate that. And, like, I look at you, and you're like on the bleeding edge of that. Of, like, really going to that extreme, and I try to push myself to that every day. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I agree with you. Yes, you got to be yourself, because no one else can replicate that. No amount of algorithms, it doesn't matter. Like, and I like that in myself, that putting out a funny creative video, that's cool. Like, I came up with that. Like, yeah. That's cool. That's funny. Like, and I I go back and, like, look at my videos. I'm like, and I laugh at that. I'm like,
it's insane. Like, we're in a world. This is like a generational opportunity that we're sitting here, that we get to sit here and make, like, these dumb videos. And not only is it like this, really interesting video content opportunity in general that we're seeing across social media, where these short form video creators, not long form even, like, it was like we matured into, like, this YouTube world of longer videos. Now we're in, like, short form content creators are building these massive audiences. But on top of that, we're doing it in this crypto niche, which is completely underdeveloped and unexplored. And this is like a land grab opportunity, basically, to, like, if you think about the content a year ago. I was talking about this with the BoDoggos guys when we were in Singapore. We're like, dude, last break point we were at, there were no video creators. No one was doing video content. And when we were there, it was like everyone had a camera. Everyone was doing these vlogs, and like it's kind of wild. And when you look at like the next kind of cycle and what's going to lead that, it's going to be like there's going to be more video creators coming in and like this world, but this like this insane opportunity where like if we weren't in crypto, we would not be able to like monetize this and make like a career out of it. It would be brutal trying to like these video creators, these short form video guys, most of them don't make anything really. It's so hard to monetize, but we have this crypto layer to it that allows us to like explore this opportunity. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. And got my KOL award in Singapore.
Let's go. Did you actually get one? No.
But I was one of those guys with the camera, you know.
Oh yeah. That was a perfect bit. That was a perfect bit.
Yeah, but definitely when I was starting in crypto, there was no one doing videos. Like, and now you have a bunch. You guys, Soul Jakey, Bankers NFTs, a bunch of people. A lot of the focus is on Solana. Like, what's interesting though is like it's a lot of video Solana creators are really big right now.
Solana was well, and that's I think part of the reason why Solana is crushing is like it was able to have this class of creators that stuck with the ecosystem and like doubled down on when Solana was at $8 or whatever it was. Easy hosted that space. Soul Jakey was like, no, we're here, we're gonna stay, and like that's paid off dividends for them because as a creator, that audience has only grown over time. Like if I would have loved to stay on Blast, but like the reality of Blast is it's a niche ass layer 2 on Ethereum that like has however like the total audience on Twitter is like 5,000 people, 10,000 people. But if that same thing, if I did that and I was like, dude, I'm going to bet on Blast as a creator and I'm just going to dominate this niche and it like 100x'd in the next 2 years, that would be my Solana play. But I can't do that. It doesn't make sense for me. So
what's your next play?
Meme coins. Meme coins are the broadest. It's going to be the biggest retail opportunity as far as content goes. There is going to be like, I truly believe there's going to be millions of people that are going to be interested in watching these meme coin style content. And it's just about how you tap into it. And I think it's most ripe with opportunity. Meme coins right now, the content that comes out of it is Ansem shilling random bullshit. It's people like, how do I make money off of this? And it's people shilling what they make one token their identity, and they solely focus on just shilling that.
Yeah.
To pump their bags, to make money. The thing that's way more interesting is the Roaring Kitty style like dynamic of someone that's trying to, a regular Joe, someone that like is not as crazy trader with this goal in mind of, hey, I want to go from X to X and I'm going to do it all publicly. That is what's interesting to me. Like if I took, $10,000, which is not a small chunk of change, and just been like, hey, I'm going to try to trade this up to $500,000 and just made the dumbest plays. Some plays are incredible and I get to make content about that. And then some plays are absolutely terrible and I get to make content about that. That feeds in itself and it's content that anyone would enjoy. And you have these tokenized communities on top of it that push your content, which is really interesting to me. But that would basically lead into like if I can grow an audience based off of that, then it will light on fire the more other videos I want to try. Like I want to try like real skits and more of the comedy aspect of it. But I feel like you have to play the crypto game a little bit if you really want to grow in this niche.
I think it's a good direction, yeah, for sure. They'll retweet you if you're pumping, shilling, whatever.
Well, not the shilling part, right? Like the hard thing is doing it in a way that's not just shilling and pumping your bags, but instead it's like, oh, I made this trade after like it's all said and done, and you like create this dynamic where it's not like you're pumping your bags, but it's having this challenge that you're trying to undertake, this journey that people can follow along. Like, oh, dude, this guy's trying to trade his way up to 10K because they all want to do it.
So why are you waiting for?
I came up with the idea over the weekend. I haven't like, but I do want to take like 10 grand and be like, dude, like if I lose this, it's
over.
Like if I lose,
it's over.
I'm not the type of guy where I'm like, if I lose just 10 grand tomorrow, I'd be like pretty pissed off. I'd be bummed out. But that's part of it is like you want it to be high stakes. What was beautiful about Roaring Kittywood, he was like this random dude that put however much money into GameStop, and everyone was like, oh, here's this random Joe Schmo that put money into it. I can play along. I can do this journey with him. I can put $500 into GME. That's what's beautiful about it, and it's not. And that's the opportunity we have is like be able to tap into those people where they're like, dude, look at this guy trying to like this dumbass. I'm also a dumbass. Let me see if I can follow along with this guy. But my fear is that it's like the whole meme coin thing is a dangerous kind of game where eventually you sell. Eventually there's the downside comes from it. So the timing thing is important. But yeah.
The timing thing is important, as is the SEC notices.
Yeah.
But Murad is big now. He's the biggest meme coin creator around.
What he's done well is he's not just shilling one thing. Like he provides a rational analysis for things versus just being strictly left curve.
Okay.
And people need this rational analysis in order to like really believe in something, I think. Like people didn't buy GameStop because it was just, oh, this thing's going to go to the moon. It was like this guy provided rational analysis for why he thought it was going to go up. And he thought it was undervalued. And Murad is doing that same thing of like, here's why I think these are undervalued and they can go to 100 billion.
Yeah.
And it gives people like something to cling on to because people want to be told, I think, what to think a lot of the time. And this gives them something to cling on of like, oh, I'm holding this because the holder ratio bullshit is this.
Yeah.
Because it's like the holder count's growing and versus it being, oh, the dog is cute.
Yeah. But then he's going to be, like when's the other shoe going to drop?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, at some point.
Oh, yeah. Like 2 years from now, he has to sell at some point.
Right. So I guess you're like, I'm selling now and then.
What I would do, like hypothetically, if I was in Murad's shoes, right? And if I had 10 grand that I put into and I had this trading journey and I ran it up to $1 million and I was sitting there and I had this crowd of people.
What coin do you have?
Dude, I don't really trade. I have like bonk.
No, I'm saying in this scenario.
Oh, in this scenario, I don't know.
No, you got to tell me.
I don't know what it would have.
Make it up, dude.
Let's say I owned a bunch of Giga Chad and I owned some bonk and I owned Popcat, right? Let's say I had a bag of similar to Murad's shoes, but it got so blown up to the point to where people were on TikTok. People were on I had like this YouTube following. I had this crowd that was like, dude, let's fucking go. We just hit a new all-time. And I'm sitting there. I would never sell it. I wouldn't sell. And that would be because that would be more notorious than selling and making $1 million, but being known as a guy who sold and dumped on everyone. You have to be the hero. I would hold. And I would be known as a guy who lost $1 million. Yeah.
Okay. I like the strategy. Is that worth it though? Is that the goal? Like if that's where you're going to get to, is it worth it?
Yes, because in reality, the what you get from if you get to $1 million, the notoriety and having the audience that you have that trusts you after that and is like freaking like, dude, this guy held the line for us. That's so valuable to have those people like rooting for you versus like you kind of betraying them in the end. It's like you going on an agreement with this audience and going like, hey guys, let's try to run this thing up. I think there's someone that's going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, so you're just but the thing is, in order to get to 1 million, you need to sell.
Oh, 1 million unrealized.
No, I'm saying like, but like, because it's like a trading journey.
Oh yeah, but eventually I would have a trading journey plus whatever 5 meme coins that I just hold forever.
Yeah, but again, you're still selling in that trading journey process.
Yeah, the question is, how do you make it the trading journey interesting to the audience?
It's not that that's the part that they're most interested in, but it's also the part that's the most
sketchy.
But because it's very easy to fall prey. Like even Murad,
no, it's so
the
hard.
one and holy Murad,
meme coin Jesus,
literally. But he puts out this NFT list. You saw the NFT list.
Yeah, that was absurd. No
Number
shame.
5 is Apu, which is in parentheses minting today.
So out of control.
I'm dead.
hadn't minted. It's like, dude, how do you can't be serious.
So like that's what happens though when that's what happens. I can't. That's just too funny, man.
I thought it was a bit initially.
No, but
like,
that's what happens when
around.
you're like, oh, I'm a caller, whatever.
But he's a trader. He's not an entertainer. Like I would do it for the entertainment's sake.
But again, you still fall prey to.
I'm not saying it's a perfect idea, nor am I gonna. That's why I haven't gone with it yet.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like that's what happens. I know.
Well, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where if you have, you grow your audience and you have these 5 things you're pushing, the new audience is gonna buy it, and it like.
And that was this whole debate with Ansim and Zach XBT. You saw that one?
Yeah.
So what? Like, do you think I personally don't even mention coins?
Yeah, I don't. I used to. I did for a very little bit with like Pac Moon, which was like brutal because I was like excited about it, but I was like, dude, it feels weird to sell this shit now. Like
that's the thing. So once you talk about the coin, so if I'm doing like an ad for someone, I won't even talk. I will make sure not to talk about the price. Only like something like for Karate Combat, for example, I'll talk about the app.
Yeah. Yeah.
For this podcast sponsored by Say. Thank you to the Say community.
Hey, say less. Say no more.
Say no more. Say no less.
Say what?
Exactly. That's what it's all about. They make the show possible, and we love them for it, right? So that for me is okay, but like just to be like, oh, go buy this coin, like.
It wouldn't be go buy this coin. It would be like I'll take you through a video I made last week of like Moodang, this hippo coin.
Okay, Moodang.
It was me shitting on it because I bought I bought it at 250 mil, and I'm pissed because all these guys were shilling it, and now the price is down 50%.
Yeah. Did you really buy it?
I did buy it, but I bought it at whatever 200 mil. It's like, and then I sold at like 120. Now it's pumping again, and that creates another video where it's like, oh fuck, this is bullshit.
Yeah, but I mean, I always feel like Anyway, it's a thin line to walk there, a thin line to walk. But so yeah, you definitely have like a more systematic approach than I like, and you want to work in a group. You said so. You want to go back to the crew.
Yeah, the biggest thing I struggle with is like I solely believe. I want to get as good as possible at making video content.
Okay.
I want to go as hard on it as possible. I think there's a massive opportunity that we have that I was laying out earlier, and I think there's gonna be more creators that come on, and there's a big opportunity to differentiate yourself. And I want to try skits. I want to like really ramp it up, and I can't do that as well if I'm just sitting on.
How'd you get involved with them, with BoDoggos?
Dude, it was like a year, and it was at the beginning of last year. I was working. I don't know if you remember Ryan Carson.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with him working with him on the Daily Dose, producing the shows, doing the call sheet, doing all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the show like took off, dominated. Dude, we were up to like 3,000 concurrent listeners on Spaces. It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
And Pio and Nick kind of noticed that. They're like, oh, like this guy like is doing pretty well. And then I started joining their shows, doing whatever. Ryan Carson Crash and Burned. And I had gotten like dinner with Nick and Pio in New York. And then I hit them up when everything crashed and burned. I was like, hey, are you guys, I would love to kind of work together and see what we can do. Here's what I think I'm good at. Here's some ideas on what I think we could do together. Like, all right, let's go. And it's changed a lot. Initially, I was like producing the show and doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, a lot of partnership stuff, to now basically just being able to create content, which is insane. I just get to sit here and make videos, and they've given me like this insane opportunity to like try to do this, which is kind of wild. So yeah.
So your job is just to make videos?
Make videos. I do a little bit on the partnership side, but like pretty much just create content on Twitter.
So what's your schedule look like?
I'm trying to figure that out because like I've been,
So is it new?
Yeah. Like as of a month ago.
A month ago.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Well, before I was like producing the show,
Yeah.
hosting the show, and like now I'm like not even on the show basically.
On the podcast.
The podcast. So now I like am trying to figure. That's why I was telling you, like, oh, my only job is to make videos. I don't really think I can just riff now. Like, if I want to take this thing seriously, I need to have some sort of structure, which is why I was asking, like, what's your creative process? Because if my output, my sole performance is like crushing Twitter, I need to have some sort of system to get that done. So I'm like setting aside. I was talking to Pio about this yesterday. I'm like, dude, how do I become more creative? Like, how do I increase my creative output? Because in order for me to make better videos, I need to have a better creative output, write better jokes, whatever it is, be more outlandish with my video styles. And he's like, oh yeah, dude, like you have to take time to like do nothing almost, where it's like you have to like sit there and like write stuff and write jokes and send these jokes to different people, see what they think and workshop them. And I was like,
yeah,
I'm so used to an output based work day where I'm like, I got this done. I got this task done. I knocked out this list of all these things, and transitioning to more of a creative role and creative responsibilities is a new thing for me. So like, it's hard for me sometimes where I get finished with my day. This has been happening recently. And I'm like, half my day was creative stuff, and I have all these ideas, but I didn't get really that much done. So it's like weird for me to like.
You'll get used to it. Don't worry about
yeah.
it. You'll be fine. On 1 month, come on.
Yeah. So
You'll make it through.
But with that being said, like if I really want to take this thing to the next level, it would be go to New York, really like, be with these people because when we're together, dude, when we go to Singapore or these conferences and we're sitting there, you've seen us, right? You've done some of these things with us in Karate Combat, and we're brainstorming. Hey, dude, try that bit. Hey, dude, try this.
Yeah,
that's where some of our best content comes from.
Sure.
So the thesis is if I do that every single day versus once every 2 months, the output will go up.
So you're moving to Williamsburg?
I guess. I have to get out of my apartment in Miami because I've got like 6 months left in this fucking lease.
It's fine. You can give notice. There's probably like 2 months notice.
And pay $2,000 pay like $6,000 in fees.
There's fees? There's that much fees?
Yeah, dude.
Sublease.
That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Just do an apartment exchange with someone.
I'm trying to like figure all that stuff out right now.
It's all right. You'll figure it out. This is all very new. A lot of moving parts. It's okay. But you're also in a different, like, for that, like, output stuff, it's like you're in a different situation than I am because, like, it's not like I have a job to do. It's not the same. You know what I mean? It's not like I have a boss that's going to, You know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, I definitely understand how you would feel like, oh, I have to schedule, you know, this and that because I have to meet certain demands.
Yeah, it's like my responsibility for my role and what I'm doing for the company and the organization is like, dude, the best you can do is just crush Twitter. Get 1 million impressions a week, 1.5, 2 mil, whatever it is, and ramp that up. So you have to look at what the outputs are to ramp that up and what it takes to get that done. And before, when I was just riffing, when it wasn't my job to like get views, I could get away with that. But now it's like I need to ramp it up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you guys definitely have a different approach to content creation. I think it's because like you have more of a organization.
Yeah.
When you have it's like it's different. It's like you got the nelkboys, and you got like, I don't know, Rogan. Rogan has a team, but like he's kind of still a solo creator in a way, versus like a group creator, like Flagrant. You know, it's like a group. It's like a. And that's cool because like you do see those groups are really popular, so you are like part of that, and it's nice that each one of you has that like different, different view, that different something that you bring to the table. It's nice.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out. It's like a new, it's all kind of a day by day thing, and Pio and Nick I think they're really starting to hit their stride on the creative side and on the content side, which is really exciting. And as an organization, it's like putting these pieces together to make everything make sense. I think the rest of the year plus 2025 should be super interesting for the organization. So yeah.
You want to give me some?
I just like, I think the produced content is going to be really interesting.
What is it going to be, like a TV show?
So we'll just straight up like produce skits like 5 minutes long about whatever. Like I compare it to, and by the way, I have no production experience, dude. I did a skit for the first time on Saturday where I was acting, dude. I like Pio came up with like a script for this thing we're doing for a partner.
Okay.
And then came up with a storyboard and like all of these things, like, hey, here are the shoots you need to do. We got a videographer to come to my apartment with light, with all this stuff, mic set up and this camera. And I'm sitting there for 4 hours straight and I'm acting of these different scenes.
How'd you feel about that?
It was completely out of my comfort zone, but I was like halfway through, I was like, oh, I can get into this. I can get into this. And I don't know what my creator journey ends up being, if it's going to be these produced skits, but like I'm trying to keep an open mind and like, hey, the worst thing that can happen is you stink at this and like you learn from it. But it's like, yeah, I showed up. I was like, oh, I'm just going to be sitting here like acting for the day. It was an exhausting kind of a mental exercise, but I think the space is really the only one doing produced content is Jakey. Right?
He's got a team, yeah.
I think Pio can really like light this whole world on fire with some of the stuff he's working on. It's pretty exciting, and yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
There used to be guys that do, man, I forgot. There's been a couple crypto produced skits out there. There was a guy that used to do them a lot. Joma,
Pio loves him. Pio loves him. Joma, yeah, he's gonna come back. Like when price goes up, when Bitcoin hits 100K, this is gonna bring a new world of creators into the crypto space. There's gonna be people that right now are doing just regular Web 2 content that have 500,000 followers that come into this space and are gonna start creating crypto content. And that's gonna be the competition. That's gonna be the bar that we're gonna be up against. And it's going to be kind of wild. So I think this produced content that Pio's doing right now is going to be a way to kind of compete and level up against them.
Yeah, Joma kind of disappeared. I haven't seen any video, but he used to do those.
And they would get thousands, like tens of thousands of likes.
Who else did Barstool did one?
They did one, yeah.
Yeah. It's a completely different style. I never really done that. I mean, yeah, it's a different thing.
Yeah, everyone has their own style. Like one of the things I wanted to do with you, for example, like if we were to go do content, I would want to do the. Did you ever watch David Goggins and I forget the other guy's name, but when David Goggins was doing Who's Gonna Carry the Boats and the laws, and he's like, who's gonna carry the boats? And like Cameron Haynes, and he has Cameron Haynes, them two like working out together, like really firing each other up. It would be us two doing something like that, where we're like way too hyped, but we're like barely lifting any weights.
Okay, I like it.
And, like,
You do a lot of physical stuff.
I love that stuff. I love doing. If I had like a gym and again, if I had someone to shoot with, I would do way more fitness content of me running, like doing this David Goggins kind of style, but like with a trading focus on top of it, or like lifting weights and like you got to pump, bring the pump. I would do a lot more of that. I would add it to my schedule. 3 workout skits per week or 2 workout skits per week needs to be in the output. But so yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do one this week.
Let's lock it in.
I'll drive by you or something, you know.
We can do like, well, I just want us to do like, dude, if we were at a gym and we like had someone recording, basically just record a 30-minute workout session of us. And we just,
we could record. But like, what kind of gym do you want?
Any gym.
I go to jiu-jitsu gym. He'll let us do it.
Well, if there are weights there.
Or you want weights? No,
I
it's
think,
like a martial arts gym.
Oh, okay. Well, my fighting is not great. I did like, I would want there to be, ideally there'd be weights and we'd be sitting there, you know, pumping. We'd be firing each other up. Be like, come on.
You want to do like a live?
Well, I'd want it to be, well, the live would be good. But the thing that I would want is like 5 or 6 freaking fire short form clips from it.
Okay.
These funny ass videos of us like just fucking around. Because no one else does. You're the only other person that does like this shirtless like content.
The shirtless content. Me and Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
You're doing the shirtless? Am I? I feel like you're wearing.
I've done some shirtless. I've done some shirtless content, not consistently.
I feel like you got a shirt on most of the time. I just remember when you did the ball. Are you wearing a shirt?
No shirt.
Okay. All right, so fine. Bro, get on my niche, the shirtless niche.
The shirtless niche is massively undervalued. It's massively undervalued.
Is it undervalued?
Yeah, the shirtless niche is completely unsaturated.
You got an arbitrage, a little arbitrage.
It's a huge opportunity, dude.
Massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
Okay, let's do it. So, but what made you want to move down here in the first place?
I just I wasn't too happy in New York. I was like, I had a rough time in New York, actually. It was the first time I had moved while I was in Seattle. Grew up mostly in Seattle most of my life. Graduated college, and I was like sitting around with my college buddies, right? And I was got this job with BoDoggos, and I was like really excited about the podcast and creating content and helping other people create content, but like everyone else I was with was just doing like a regular 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. So, and they weren't in crypto, they weren't anything. So I kind of felt a little bit isolated. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I need to get out of it. I want to kind of try something new. So I ended up moving to New York last August. And because it was this kind of crypto job, it already is kind of isolating on its own. But on top of that, I was working remotely and then I was living on my own. So it was kind of isolating in itself, where like, yeah, I had a few friends, but like, I was in this small apartment, first time living on my own. And it was pretty tough. I was like, oh, I'm not like too psyched about this. And the weather wasn't great. So I literally lasted like 4 months in New York.
Oh, okay. Short.
Where I was like, this is not for me.
But now Miami's not for you.
Miami, if Pio and Nick came down to Miami and we had like a crew down here that we could do content with, the biggest problem with Miami, I actually really like Miami. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that I'm on my own, that I don't have like other creators to shoot with that are around.
You haven't found anyone?
Yeah, I also haven't. Yeah. that I don't have other creators to like bounce ideas off. I just want the experience of being with people on a day-to-day basis where we're like just fucking around trying to do content. That's the number one way I think we're going to be able to like really crush 2025. And
It's more fun.
yeah.
Where do you live?
Right now I'm in Wynwood.
Wynwood.
Yeah.
You like that neighborhood?
Yeah, it's good. It's fine.
You didn't got the acai bowls and
No, I don't. I eat the tacos.
street taco?
Koyo taco.
Koyo.
It's
Go to the
fantastic.
taco stand.
Oh, I have gone there too.
Way better.
It's really
than
good.
Koyo.
I like both of them. But Miami's good. Miami's good. LA is also interesting.
L.A.
Just because there's a lot of creators over there. You got Jakey. You got
Jakey lives in L.A.
Jakey's in LA.
But if he travels all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it's literally just it's video content all the way. I want to like quadruple down on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to level up, dude. Like compared to any time I like feel like I'm like, oh, maybe I'm like making progress, I immediately try to like humble myself by showing the real video like Web 2 creators that are crushing this. And I'm like, oh, let's go. I got to level up.
Like, what do you mean? Like who?
Zachirific. Have you heard of him?
No.
He's really good.
What does he do?
Dude, he's like this guy that pretends to be. He's like this like overweight, not the best looking guy, but he's like this guy that has like a bunch of confidence, and he like creates fake
Shirtless?
news. It's like no, it's like Zacharific seen leaving restaurant with Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney was quoted saying she's never been so far in love, and he's like, guys, I hate it when like I'm just trying to go to dinner with my lady. Like we had a
privacy, bro.
Did she say she had the best night of her life after that? Absolutely. But guys, come on, give Sydney and I some
So
privacy.
that's like short form videos or what?
Yeah, it's short form videos.
Okay.
Hilarious.
Okay. And it's edited, like
CapCut, like overlay, super simple.
Right. Okay. Not highly produced.
No, but it's like funny. It's these funny bits.
Yeah.
That he's just crushing over and over again.
On TikTok.
TikTok and Instagram.
And he gets a lot of views.
Crushing. He's like 1 million.
That's insane.
Million.
Yeah, I would like to get to that level. I don't know how. Bruh. Like 1 million? That's crazy. Yeah, but what do you mean but level up? Like, I mean, he's just been doing it for a while, I guess, and he finds a format that works, and he's just been doing it.
I think the skits are all like I have these ideas that I want to do that I require a more robust setting.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
here's an idea I want to try.
All right.
Right, like
Yeah.
I want to do a bit where instead of the injury lawyer. You know those injury
Okay.
lawyers, like weird, like raggedy ass. I want to make one of those commercials where I'm the injury lawyer, except it's for celebrity meme coins.
Yeah.
Like, did you buy Cardi B's WAP token? Did you buy Jason Derulo's?
That's a good idea.
And it's like, if that happened to you, call 1-800 like blah blah blah. Like, I want to do that bit.
Yeah.
I also want to do but like that I can't do with a phone, right? Like that requires a more.
You can just, I mean, why not?
That I want to do with like a suit getting here and like
suit
right
and
shitty suit and like I actually think
green
maybe I could
screen.
do that. You
definitely could do that.
So maybe it's a limiting piece that maybe I just need to stay here. But the other
Well, no, I don't.
So when I say level up, it's like getting to the point to where we're freaking cranking out sick ass videos, like funny ass, like that's a funny video versus
funny.
me sitting there and riffing and just sitting like I got to record something and I'm sitting there just doing 10 takes until I get something good. There's lines in there. There's funnier. I think I can really crank that one up. Like I had I don't know if you saw the video I did about like where I was like the YOUNES imitation, which was me like flopping around in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That got like 120K views, where it was like,
Really?
okay, that was a more thought out idea that can go broader.
Mm-hmm.
Versus some of the other things I do are really niche. really niche. They're about like a micro meme, like a meme coin that's going to be at 0 in 2 weeks. So the audience for that is small. So what I want to go bigger on is like expand the audience I can really reach to versus just creating content for 10,000 people is like the max audience. And like, I want to try to ramp up and like, can I appeal to broader people? Is there content that you can create that's outside of this bubble? That's the challenge, is creating content that like more amount of people will find funny versus leaning into this niche. It's like making jokes about like Pokemon cards versus making jokes about like something way bigger. It's a
Donald
challenge.
Trump or something.
Well, I don't know.
You don't know Donald Trump?
I don't know if I would make a good joke about him.
You don't know?
Yeah.
If you could make a great Donald Trump joke. But I don't think that, again, like I think that the production level doesn't always translate. I mean, it could. I mean, I don't know. But I think that also it's less about the production. Like you'll have more of the tools of production, but also being around those people. I mean, they're very creative. They obviously put out videos every day. So that's obviously going to help you. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, is like even the production stuff, it's a cherry on top. But it's about like, hey, like let's go work on this video. Let's go let's go shoot this, and being around that being around other creative people, honestly.
You can make better videos for sure. Like the stuff they do, like with Nick, like he's in a crowd or something with the gold medal, or in Singapore, like I don't even know what the fuck he was saying. He's announcing something. Yeah,
watching that, you see the end like even working remote. Like I don't see a lot of the work that goes into a lot of those videos, but like when I was there in Singapore and watching the Nick going like, all right, here's a bit, like let's try this, and then like Nick like directing people and being like, hey, you need to go here, hey Clemente, when I go here, zoom in, then zoom out, then pan over, and as I'm going up the escalator, you pan in, like, and the lines that he says and hammering it over and like I was like, oh shit, like that was next kind of like, that was like higher production, like that is sick. And then like doing the run throughs and all of that was an area where I was like, oh, that's like a growth opportunity for me to be like operating in.
Absolutely. That's one reason I want to move to Austin. Yeah, I like Austin. It's the best.
Why do you want to go there?
The comedy is so good there. The podcasting, the music, the best entertainment.
It's awesome. Austin, straight up. The times I've gone, I was like, I went for Bitcoin Nash. No, whatever other conference was in Austin. Consensus. And there was like an extra night, and I just went out on Friday night by myself. Yeah. And I was just walking down that road, and it was like, and I was just like, oh, I went to Red Band's Sunset Strip, and I was like, oh, they have like an open mic or whatever. They had like a show they were doing that night. I went, I was like, oh, these are all like pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you are a comedian.
Yeah.
But just in a different format.
Yeah.
You are doing comedy in a 60-second different setting, no audience, riffing.
Yeah.
But it's comedy.
Yeah.
Which is wild. It for me, it like blows my mind that some of the like most of the videos I'm doing also comedy.
Yeah.
In a different like style format.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, like that's pretty insane.
Yeah, I feel like being around that, being in that energy, even doing like stand up, that could just make the videos better, right? Like my videos. It will
1000% make the videos better.
Because again, it's like I feel like most of my videos not about the production. It's just about what I say and how I say it and the topic. Like, you know what I mean?
It's all that. it's how you start the video, how you
Yeah.
the way you deliver each line, the lines you say, how like your movement in it, and how you know, fucking making sure the shoulder
you gotta get a good move,
that's all improving kind of the craft, and being around people like that are just scrapping and like hustling their butts off, dude, because regular comedians, they're not making shit. And they're grinding.
For sure.
And the work they're putting in to get better, I'm like, dude, okay, I need to think about it like that.
Yeah.
Think about it like a comedian that's literally just getting started.
Yeah.
And just
even not getting started 2, 3, 4 years in, still not. They're funny. They don't have any fame or anything.
No, 15 years of like
it's great. Like learning from that process for sure, I think could help me.
It would be absurd. Even watching like Kill Tony, I'm a big fan of that. Yeah. And like watching, dude, he now he's like really popping off. This year has been incredible for him.
I went to Kill Tony in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
and Nick and Pio were there.
Right. How like,
awesome.
Dude, the level of success that but he's been doing it for what 15 years or something, and like, but he's been like on it, and he's just been like completely getting better at his craft. I'm like studying those types of creators and being like, okay, that's the kind of mindset you need to have, is like this obsession over your craft and obsession. And sometimes I take it too far where I go obsession over where the craft is being posted. Like Tony doesn't give a shit. These comedians don't give a shit about they're not thinking about the algorithm or anything like that. It's the medium in which we're operating in, so it helps, but like their sole focus is how do I become funnier and how do I deliver these jokes better and all that stuff. And it's about doing that as much as possible. So that's kind of how, but even like talking to you about it, and like talking through some of these things, it's like helps. It's starting to click more for me with kind of how we're doing this.
Yeah, again, because if you focus too much on the algo, then it's like it's out of your control. I feel like it's out of your control, and then it's kind of like burnt out about it.
Controlling the algo, trying to do the algo stuff has been for me like the shift I've done recently is like, dude, just like keep crushing.
Keep crushing. It's very hard. It's very hard. Elon does some weird shit in there. You know what I mean? He's tinkering. He's boosting his own profile, man. You can't compete with that.
No, he's boosting the algo, dude.
He's literally bought all his followers, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. But part of it is like, yeah, and you can disrupt. This space is so ripe for disruption. Like, think about the success that Bangers had with her content recently, and like she just broke it. She just broke into the space. Like she was just started making videos, dominating, and it was like, oh, like she busted onto the scene with these making videos and all that stuff. It's like, oh, yeah. So it's ripe for disruption.
Oh yeah, absolutely
ripe. It's just who can like. So that's how I'm trying to like go, okay, what are we doing next? What's the next kind of...
Just got to create. Put it out there. I feel like Miami, though, is missing that kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
Because, like, here is very focused on, like, clubs. There's some comedy, not a lot.
No, there's not. There's not. Miami is a different world, and that's kind of the other side of it. There's not a lot of creative output to it versus, like, if you go to Austin... right, and you're like around other comedians. Like ideally I go to New York and I room with like a comedian and a photographer and like these guys that are artistic in their like passion versus someone that's working in like finance, right?
Well, why not? They give you insight into trap.
Sure. I mean,
what are you shitting on? You shitting on finance all of a sudden?
No, I it's just been the I've been around that level of those types of people my whole life.
You wanted more creative, but you didn't. You said you didn't growing up. You didn't feel like creative.
Never. I always thought it was like weird, honestly, kind of.
For freaks.
Yeah, I was like, so now that's been kind of my own identity crisis I've had recently. Like, dude, am I just a fucking weirdo? And I'm like, I guess I am, and that's a good thing.
Why not?
But I've always been operating in this world of like, not necessarily the 9 to 5, but like the business side of things and work in that way, where it's like the professional side of it versus being in this creative world is like super new for me still. Yeah.
I think you're crushing it so far. I like some of those ideas. Let's do some weightlifting.
We have to.
What's your biggest video? What's the biggest video you put out so far?
Probably the YOUNES video, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw that. That was funny. I was like, God damn, I should do that too.
But I put that together in like literally 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Like 10 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, if that YOUNES video did well, like imagine if I put more time into the videos I'm making, right? Versus like just riffing. Really work on trying to make these like the scene and how I record. Like if I don't know, if I did like a YOUNES style vertical once a week or whatever it was, and it was more.
You think that would work though? Every week putting that out?
I think if I did like me just flopping around,
Yeah.
in Miami or whatever it is,
Try it, bro.
I'm gonna
But I think like, why does YOUNES work? It's just like so weird and so out there.
It's just different.
It's just different.
He's just a different like beast, dude, and he
He's-
doesn't care. He's so like.
He seems like he's trained in fighting.
I watched. He is like I
Yeah.
watched Eunice's like videos from like 5 years ago.
Okay.
This guy was like break dancing in the street.
Okay, yeah.
And like doing these dancing videos, but doing this dancing stuff, but just on the street.
Right.
And he instead is
He's
now,
still doing it on the street.
right, but now he's like already leveling it up, and
Uh-huh.
that's what I think is going to happen with. That's like what this video world is allowing is like this distribution to.
Yeah. Doing those parodies is a great, also gives me inspiration a lot of the time. When you can just copy something like I did, like there was one Andrew Tate one where he was with his brother and his brother was just like completely checked out and he was getting a massage. I just like,
Oh yeah.
like copied it. Like that was good. Like, there's one I did with like Pomp. I don't know if he was like, there was that one video with Pomp. He's like BlockFi like this.
Doing those is the best. Like that's such great. Like taking stuff already like that already works in Web 2 or that people already recognize.
Yeah.
And then adding your
Yeah.
personality, your spin to it is fantastic.
Finding stuff you can react to always, I feel like gives me inspiration.
Yeah. I like part of the world is like just doom scrolling a little bit and seeing like what people like, what people think is funny.
I also used to I don't do this anymore, but like you can just take stuff from TikTok and just do it on Twitter because no one sees this. No one sees the trending stuff on TikTok, but it's very easy to find the sounds that are like the biggest trending sounds. There's no sounds on Twitter, so nobody knows about that, right? And you can just very easily copy that over. Also on YouTube Shorts, like I get a lot of inspiration from sometimes like just seeing what they put out there.
Yeah, there's like there's so much of an open world with crypto Twitter. It's a little bit overwhelming sometimes because there's text, because there's just memes, there's video memes you can put out, and then there's your own self-recorded content, and the self-recorded content can vary in length, can vary in how you're shooting it, can vary in production level, and because there's so much to it, sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming.
I always thought that like under a minute was the best, but now I see there's like 3-minute videos.
Yeah,
on
but
Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know how successful those are. I think 3 minutes could work, but right now, like longer form, literally more than 1:30 is like by the end of it, the retention is out the window. Like, do you look at when you're done with your video, when you post a video, do you look at like the one that did well last week? Did you look at the video metrics for it? Oh, I would be curious to see those. Like,
look at
I basically with each video, I track what was the impression to view ratio. You want that to be like over 30%.
Well, what can I do about that?
Well, it just helps you understand like benchmark performance for other videos.
But like, again, like I can't do anything Like, okay, so benchmark performance. So this video underperformed, or
Well, because you can
like,
you
okay.
can take new experiments with each one, right?
Mhm.
Like you can go, okay, if you know the data behind behind these things, behind the bookmarks, behind profile visits, all this stuff,
Mhm.
and then when you next video you do, you're like, okay, I'm gonna experiment with something new. I'm
Okay.
going to I'm gonna tag someone in the video, or I'm gonna make
Okay.
the copy a little bit longer, or change this up.
Mhm.
You can then use the benchmark performance to see if it led to more things, because the thing that we experiment with is like, okay, if I do X,
You're saying in the same video?
no, it would be like a different video but in the same style, right? Like if I post a selfie video and I tag someone in this way, or I add in the meme coin or whatever that I'm talking about, or make the copy longer or shorter.
Yeah.
Will it lead to more impression, like more views from impressions? Will that happen? And does that equal more distribution on Twitter?
Yeah. But I feel like, again, it's more about, for me, I feel like it's like the video. If the video's good, then people are going to watch it. I mean,
Not necessarily. I don't think so.
you don't think so?
I think if a video is good,
Yeah.
but is optimized in a specific way where the hook
Yeah.
leads to more people viewing it.
The video hook or the
Text hook.
hook?
The text hook, because
Yeah.
in Twitter, on Instagram, you're immersively opting into swiping, to watching video
Yeah.
content. Twitter, you have to opt in to watch the video. You have to click on it.
Yeah.
So you have to think about what's going to make someone click on the video. It's about the opening shot.
Yeah.
It's about what they see with no sound, which might be
Yeah.
you shirtless in the Tesla,
Yeah.
or
That's what I feel like it is. Yeah.
plus the text.
Yeah.
Plus the text. The
I
fact
feel like
that you
it's
had,
the on-screen text.
I think it's the text
Really?
for the tweet. The fact that you had, I think it was like Middle East or
Yeah.
whatever, helped the distribution 1000%, because Twitter sees Middle East is trending and they're going to feed that to more people. They see
Right.
Middle East as a
Right.
keyword.
Yeah. So definitely, again, right. Okay. But it's about the topic.
Yeah, but also how you include the topic in the tweet.
Okay. Fair
Like
enough.
I could look at your, yeah.
No, you're right. I'm sure you're right, because that's probably how they filter stuff, right? They're not like analyzing the video
Yeah.
content. They're looking at the text.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I've been looking at is like new followers for each tweet. How many new followers you're getting from what, and you can kind of understand what niche is underserved versus like what audience is kind of untapped, and if a video is expanding your audience. What happens a lot of the time with like tweets, for example, funny tweets that I put out but don't have my face. It's not a video, it's text.
Yeah.
That could get 250,000 impressions, but the follower conversion from those impressions, garbage.
Yeah, I see those accounts that have like a hit tweet, and I click on the account, and it's like
They don't convert.
2,000
They don't
followers or
convert.
whatever.
And
Yeah.
those actually they help ramp up your impression count, because because if you have a banger tweet, by the way, you have 250,000, but it's text, the next tweet you have after that has if it's in the similar topic, for example, it'll get served to the same people, or it'll get served to more people.
It's juiced.
It's juice, dude. Elon just juices that shit. Or if you quote tweet that tweet, Elon will juice it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're already making, like I was saying, if you're already making good content, and you can like if you can find a way to juice the good content,
Yeah.
you're freaking you're next level. You're sitting there. Like we could go whatever next video you make, or we could look at your profile, we'd be like, hey, let's try this, let's try that. We could have a little brainstorm session. We could like outline the next few things you need to make.
Okay.
You can experiment with.
Okay.
Given, and then we
Let's
can
do it
look
right
at
now.
other-
I mean, like, the style of my video. Like, I mean, you said earlier about replies.
That's generic though,
Yeah.
right? Like specifically for your page.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be like trying a new setting, right? Like what I've been experimenting recently.
Okay.
And this is like super niche. I don't even know if it's going to be good for, for like podcast content. What I've been doing recently has been starting the video like this.
Yeah.
And then I set the camera down and I walk back. Versus before, I would start the video with me just already being back there. Like little things. So
Does that do better?
it crushed. It got juiced. It got juiced.
Because you set the phone down.
That's what I'm saying.
This is creative content, baby.
It's like setting it down and like, but it added a level of like personal. People were like, "Oh, what?" Like I'm not used to seeing that.
Okay.
So next video.
What was the topic of the video though? It was
like
nothing?
about hippo mudang.
Okay.
Like
And you've done other mudang before?
Yes.
Okay. But the setting down. But now you can't set down again because now people know.
I don't set down. Now I'm not going to set down for another, actually I'm doing one video today where I'm setting it down. But this time I'm setting it down and then standing up. So I like have these mini experiments where like it's a similar.
Like what does that tell you? That experiment, what does that tell you?
It tells me that whether or not the experiment works, whether or not people enjoy it. Because sometimes like that type of, because you don't know right now, all the videos that I've done that have done well to a certain extent that I record by myself are just me talking to myself like this. Mm-hmm. Right. But what if I can I'm telling the same jokes. Mm-hmm. It's the same lines I'm delivering, but instead it's like when a stand-up comedian adds a pause, right? Or adds like Sebastian Maniscalco when he adds this like movement to it. How can I do that?
Yeah.
Right. And it's tinkering with those little things. Okay. Right.
No, I get it.
Yeah. So I'm starting to set the phone down now because now it gives me full mobility to do dumb.
Oh, okay. But that's more. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why. Yeah, I definitely don't. When you're holding your phone, it's way harder for sure.
And then there's also little things I do to like during like if I'm making a video about how I lost money on a trade. Yeah. One of my best videos actually is when I was talking about how down bad I was with Blast and like how much I was struggling with it. And and I shot it in a yurt with my hair just disheveled. Yeah. I looked like shit. I on purpose didn't shower before the video and I felt like just nasty. Yeah. And but if I just shot that when I was, cleaned up and I looked good, that wouldn't have had the same level of impact. So it's kind of that commitment to the bit as well.
It's also but I think you said that you felt a certain way. When you feel a certain way, people will feel that.
That's why the trading content is so good because, and that's why I like trading. I actually am not interested in like making money. Obviously I want to make money through trading, but trading and like putting my money on the line for whatever's trending is perfect because I lost like $600 on Mudang. I'm fucking pissed off about that.
Mudang.
So I can, but what that allows me to do is just make a fucking video where I rip into this fat ass baby hippo. Like how dumb, it's so dumb that I get to like, it's so absurd that a grown ass man put $1,000 into an internet meme coin related to a baby hippo and is now like, and then the bit is I'm mad at the baby hippo. And I'm not taking responsibility for it because it's not my fault that I lost money on it. It's these Twitter crypto LARPers that told me to buy this thing. And Mudang not being funny enough recently. Make the fucking, where do the viral videos go? But that's why I like the meme coin content. It's like most of the time I'm actually down to lose a bunch of money on it because it's way more relatable. Because if you're losing money and you're not seen as an alpha call or any of this, it's just strictly entertainment. And people are like, yeah, dude, I fucking lost money on Mudang too. And Mudang is also trending.
It's also funny though if you make money to play the other role.
Well, I want to do it, but I haven't made money yet.
Fucking shitbags, I'm your king.
Right. Right. Like, I did one of those videos where I was like, just ludicrous. I was like, yo, everyone call me a top signal. Like, what the fuck? Does this look like a top signal to you? And I'm like sitting in like jorts and like a suit, smoking a cigar with like a barbecue lighter. Yeah. It's so fucking dumb. And like if you make money on it, you can also like lean into like the Andrew Tate style, like selling a course also on it.
You should do that anyway.
I want to. I want to. So there's so much. There's all this, like even us two just spitballing like this and just riffing. I'm like, oh yeah, there's more ideas there, and there's like, that's what I'm trying to solve for. With this move, is being with more creative people and just riffing.
I think
more
it will.
often.
I mean, for sure. Why not? It'll help. It'll help. It'll help being around those grinders, putting out that Again, the thing is just doing it every day, and they do it every day. It's rare to find that those types of people, right?
Yeah.
What do you do? I create content.
Yeah, it's absurd.
What does that mean?
It's absurd. And also just having people like give you feedback on stuff. Like we'll go through some old content and we'll be like, oh, this didn't do well. Like you could have done this better. You could have changed this delivery, how you delivered that. Or like, you know, if we went through your videos and we're like, yo, Gabe, like you see how here you pause for too long and like fix that and like add this movement to it. That would be way funnier. You can keep that in mind for next time you're making
I don't know though, because I think that being in the moment is what makes it funny, and being authentic.
But it's being authentic with the bits. Like the comedians are constantly, they have one routine that they're doing, right? Versus you're coming up with original content. But there is better ways to optimize the thing so the viewer doesn't. It kind of sucks sometimes because like you have to keep in mind you're optimizing for this like dopamine short attention span viewer. But like the reality of it is the bit can be as good as possible. But if you pause for too long or you do this thing and you hammer too much on one joke, you're going to lose them.
Yeah. It's hard to know though.
Well, you can know with the audience retention
you
stats.
Might know. I don't know.
And you know,
yeah, definitely shorter. Though definitely the long I've looked at like that before, not on like every video, but yeah, definitely the longer at the end of the video you have a lot of big drop off. That's like usually how it is.
But you want to aim for. I mean, yeah, but like I'm like, okay, at the 1 minute mark, was it more or less than 15% audience retention?
At the 1 minute, I really don't. You put out more than 1 minute videos?
Yeah, I do like one. It varies, but sometimes I do like 1 minute, 1 minute 20.
I don't usually do that, but I mean, it's like, it's about what I have to say. Like, if I have something to say that's 1:20, I'll say it. But like, if it's something that's only 45 seconds, then I said 45 seconds, right?
Yeah, but it's different styles. Like I also have something similar to say. The bit is the bit. But if I can get the bit shorter because like and take it from 1:20 and cut out a little line that I had in there because it's not that funny, that'll
for sure making it shorter. Brevity is the soul of wit. You ever heard that one?
I've heard it a couple times.
You heard it? Never mind. But why'd you get into making videos in the first place? Just through Nick and Pio and.
I honestly have no clue. Oh, yeah. I don't know, actually. Like, I didn't really start. It was like March, and I was trying to get into Blast. I was like getting into Blast, and then one day, like, Blast had this thing where they had like these little jackpots where you won this gold, this internet gold, and everyone was telling me I wouldn't get the Blast gold, so I woke up and I hit the jackpot. So I made this video and I was like, yo, hey, I just hit the jackpot, baby. Let's go. And like, just that dumb video, people loved it. So I was like, all right, let's just keep doing it.
Just on that. Okay.
There was no thought process. Like, oh, I'd always felt like I had untapped kind of this thing I wanted to get out of me.
Yeah.
And like
express,
I feel like I wanted to express myself in a more public way and I didn't know how. So I just started recording and I realized I was like, oh, like these things that I have to say, I'm able to like deliver them with more passion, with more energy, more authentically than just written. And people seem to resonate with it. So let's keep doing it.
Absolutely. That's why I'm yelling in my car.
Exactly.
There's no other place to do it.
Right. And that's why we're going to be, shooting. We're going to be working out and just firing each other up. Yeah.
So you're moving to New York. You're doing your trading meme journey. And so you're off the podcast.
Yeah, I was on it this morning as like a panelist, but I'm not like
You're not a regular?
I'm not a regular.
And so what else? Is there anything else you're looking forward to? Anything else you're enjoying?
I'm trying to well, there's the big challenge I'm dealing with is like the physical side of things, the fitness side, I've had like a lot of chronic pain that I've dealt with from like a tennis career. I tried getting really into that in high school, and I like pushed myself way too hard, so I like screwed up my body real bad.
Really?
And ever since, I'm 25 now. I have like pretty bad back pain all the time, and like it gets real bad when I like travel. Like when I was in Singapore, I was in shambles. But I've never been able to consistently like try to fix this, and it's because I'm like ADD, and I like doing these. I love running, and I love running and pushing myself to like where I literally am like puking, or
Goggins.
cardio. Dude, I love the Goggins shit so much, but I can't do that because it's like my body like just destroys itself. So
do you lift?
Yeah, I lift. But like it's like I have my hip flexors are all screwed up, and I need to do like these stabilization exercises and all that stuff. Yeah, but not enough. Like I literally need to like stretch like an hour or two a day.
Why not?
Why haven't I done it? Because I don't like I haven't had the discipline to do that. So now that's been my challenge that I've been trying to do.
Back pain?
Terrible back pain.
Really? You do good mornings?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
You're like the sun salutations?
No, like like a back extension like this,
Oh, yeah, I do those, but like I need to like it's like really ramping it up. And
you got to take care of that, brother.
Yeah, so I've been like wanting to get into that. I've been
need some yoga content.
Yes. So I want to that's an area that I haven't, that's another arbitrage opportunity is the self-development. And I'm surprised you haven't got into this actually. The improve, like everybody in crypto, most human beings are trying to like be a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
And especially in crypto, I think in crypto, it's financial, right? But I think everyone in crypto fits this like wanting to like actively make their lives better.
Yeah.
And there's like this running content or like kind of being authentic about like that and like trying to get better is an untapped.
So how can I do that more?
Dude, just you working out and being like,
I do that.
But breaking out of the character a little bit.
Breaking out of the character?
Yeah,
what do you mean?
and just being like, dude, because you've lost how much weight have you lost recently?
Maybe 30, 35 pounds.
Yeah, it's insane, and I don't know how you would kind of necessarily play it in, but I think just like a straight up like what motivated you to go on that journey? What
I've talked about it before, but I mean, a lot of it was I didn't have energy. Felt very tired, and with kids, you got to have a lot of energy. So I felt that it was really important to not carry around so much weight all the time and just to be healthier and fit.
How do you feel now? You have more energy?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
I think
way stronger than I've ever been.
I would talk about that. That's an unexplored vertical for you.
Okay. I did talk about it in the last podcast. I posted a clip about it. I mean,
but you gotta.
I agree with you. But like, what can I do more about that? I mean,
it's an everyday thing. It's an everyday struggle, and like talking about that in a way where you make it unique is interesting. Like people want to know what your workout is, what is that you're doing, your transformation. I've lost 35 pounds, year to date or whatever it is, and a before and after, and here's the workout I'm doing to like even that, and then like even doing like a motivational video, like and even doing a bit about it or whatever, like is interesting. Because it's relatable.
I mean, I do feel like I post workout videos. So.
I think the delivery can be
better.
Can be better.
I'm not good at workout videos. I'm not good at them.
You just
I'm not good at them.
Well,
I'm going to tell you for sure.
When we do our workout session, we'll try to see if we can change it.
I've done like maybe on the treadmill. Have you ever seen any of those?
I've seen one. I think I've seen one of.
I did a bunch of those on the running on the treadmill. No, not good.
I think it's like
Give me more. Give me more. I don't know what you're saying.
it's how you deliver it, and
Yeah.
like that is a. What's the message is like, figuring out how you deliver that is its own piece. Like that's a different message. The one that I would want to be like if I were doing it right and I were running or whatever it was. Well, there's one running vertical of me just sitting there and like doing the David Goggins style.
Yeah.
The other one would be just a video of me running, like recording myself running or whatever it is, and it would just be like basically like what I just told you of like this pain that I struggle with and the how I've been able to kind of cope with this and the effects that I've had and what I'm working on and what's the goal. That's like telling the story around that is how you can complement it. And I think the way for you to improve a lot of these things is through the text that comes with some of the content you deliver. I actually think text can be delivered in a more interesting way.
The text, like again,
yeah.
So what? I mean, you mentioned trending, like Middle East type keywords.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
Because I wouldn't include Middle East in a workout video.
Oh, I was just saying like what? No, I didn't mean that in a workout. But I was just saying like. I was just saying, in general, what was your tips? I'm dropping bombs, baby. You see these guns?
I'm dropping. Yeah, exactly. That would be exactly optimize it. Dude, Elon would boost the shit out of that.
You juice the shit out of
You
that.
juice that shit. No, it wouldn't. Well, it wouldn't be the character. It would be like.
Just real. I did
real.
do like I now that you mentioned, I did do a video like that. Someone messaged me like, "Oh, I've been like trying to work out for 3 months."
Yeah.
And I did a video like, "Oh," and basically I told him like, "Bro, 3 months is like not a lot of time for this, right?" And like took you like probably years to get fat, right? Why is it gonna take you 3 months to be? So I made a video about that, and thinking about it, it did okay. Yeah, it did pretty well. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. I get what you're saying. I guess you're right that I don't really deliver those workout videos very authentically. They're always like kind of like a joke.
Yeah, expanding into like you're authentically yourself, but expanding into why you are yourself and like learning more about who you are is a way I like to play into it more.
Okay.
Like, I like to be just show up with who I am and like explore more of that. Yeah. Explore more of my story. That's more of like a Twitter. It's the beauty of what Twitter allows you to do because it includes like text opportunity. So some of the content that people really resonate with, where this is like there's the growth content and then there's like where people have like also building a connection with your audience. Yeah. Right. And like that's what I'm trying to do a lot more of is like not just create content that makes people laugh, but also like makes people connect to me and makes me connect to the person, right? Of like talking about my back pain or talking about when I lost $30,000 on an NFT and it being serious and being like, but this is like what allowed me to do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Kind of peeling the onions on another side of it is I think important in just building an audience and like your true 1,000 fans or whatever that looks like. The people that talk to me in like conferences, a lot of them actually, the interesting thing is like a lot of people that like come to me like, hey dude, like I love your videos, but also like they talk about how they've also lost money trading and like, and they've are a shitty trader and they like, dude, I lost money on that thing too. And like, but I appreciate you showing up authentically and like being transparent about that. Yeah. And like, I think when you come out of the character shell a little bit and just be like yourself, it allows for this kind of vertical style that isn't really used a lot in the crypt in general, right? It's like everyone posts about their wins and like is like, here's how I'm showing up, but not necessarily in like a way where people can relate to, because a lot of times people aren't.
I feel like the way I've done that is just by shirtless posting. You know what I mean? Like, it's authentically me being fat, and it's authentically me losing the weight, you know, and you can see that. And I maybe like telling the story more could be told better. I definitely have had people like message me though and be like, "Oh, you've inspired me to lose weight, X, Y, and Z." But you're saying tap into that.
Tap into that more. Like, that's what Twitter allows you to do more of, is like, if you were on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
If you're a creator on Reels, it's like, oh, that's your thing. Like, I've seen people, Twitter's the only like place where this type of stuff is like even acceptable, right? To do. Like, I've seen creators that I really enjoy on Instagram start talking, don't do the funny bit, and instead just like sit there and being like, hey, I'm going to be vulnerable for a second. Here's kind of how I've dealt with whatever. If you were like, I don't want this, go back to the funny content. Versus on Twitter, because there's a text-based layer to it, and because it allows for more frequency of content to be accepted, it allows you to like expand the way you show up and you present yourself. It allows for different types of content and verticals.
So what can I improve in the text?
It's just the way you write it. It's like the hook, right? So let's say, for example, tomorrow you posted a picture of like, you know, whatever, a video of you at however many pounds X time versus you today. And it's like, you give the date versus date. So it's like 2021 versus 2024. The day I decided to make a change or whatever. It's like a little bit of a, you know, it's a little corny, but it's like
a little.
the day I decided that's a workshopping.
That's a Hallmark card,
that's an insane.
bro.
Okay. No, it would be
Merry Christmas, motherfucker.
No, it'd be like I lost whatever. I lost, 35 pounds.
Okay.
I lost 35 pounds in X amount of time. I feel great. Like, I'm stepping in, I'm being more creative. I feel better when I'm around my kids and blah, blah, blah. I know I don't usually make these types of posts, but blah, blah, blah. And you finish the post.
That's in the text.
Yes.
And with a video along.
No, just 2 pictures. A picture of you,
picture
of you 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and a picture of you today.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Try it.
Okay.
The Hallmark line, I'm.
But like, what am I trying to get out of that? It's just like engagement.
No, it's people that might have seen one of your videos. That's like, oh, like there's more to Gabe than just these videos.
Right.
There's more to it, and adding that depth is what takes you from like someone that I see every day and like see on my feed versus someone that I like feel like is my friend almost and like relate to. There's that's a different thing. And Twitter allows for that type of like content exploration. Okay. To like really build depth with your people. Like, dude, the people that are on Instagram, for example, I think they're funny and like I think they're cool people. I would love to get a drink with them and hang out, but like there's a different layer of like depth that comes with doing that. And the other way to do it is through a podcast.
Yeah, that's what I feel. Yeah.
But the podcast, you're asking for an hour or 2 hours of someone's time.
But I post clips on like a minute clip.
But the clips are. Yeah, and the clips are great, but there's
it's not produced around the story. Like if I'm working out and then I tell that a story more authentically, it's a little bit different than me talking about it on a podcast.
Yeah, it's a different type of like you got to meet people where they're at, and like when I see a podcast clip, I'm used to like I'm so conditioned to like everyone does the podcast clips. Everyone does the podcast clips. So it's
You don't like them? I like them though. I watch them.
I like them, but on Twitter, I look at it less.
I watch them though.
I put them on 2x speed. And I'm like,
I got 2x speed, but I still watch.
But that's a content depth. Like,
Yeah.
I need to have built that relationship with you in order for me to watch one of those types of videos.
Yeah, it's it would be someone that I would know.
Yeah.
It's not just gonna be usually a random
Right.
podcast,
So there's like Twitter is this game of like going from expanding and then adding depth, expanding the audience and then adding depth to who you are. And that's a game that like you can kind of play a little bit. And that is, I think, in a big opportunity that like I'm trying to see if that's possible. I don't even know if that's necessarily like what people even enjoy necessarily, but I think it's an opportunity to, I think it's, an arbitrage opportunity.
Well, I think that there's definitely like Nikita Avocado. You know who that is? No, you don't know this guy? He's a big fat guy. He would eat tons of food. He had a lot of, you don't know what I'm talking about? He would do these mukbangs, and he got really, really fat, really, really fat, and then he pre-recorded a year of him being fat.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
one day he came out skinny. Yeah, so I think like that is, for me, that's like the opposite of what you want, because he, like, the way that he did it is just like, fuck you, now I'm skinny, instead of what you're saying, which is like,
Take them along the journey.
yeah, like you obviously were struggling with something and it took you a lot of
who's
time.
Mukbang? Is he like, does he make videos of, what does he do now?
Nikita Avocado?
Or Nikita Avocado?
I don't want to just, it's him still eating, I think. I don't watch his videos.
You're a comedian. You're an entertainer. This is just an additional layer of who you are.
Yeah.
Your bit is not that you lost weight.
No.
Like,
I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying that's what he did, and I feel like instead of like showing the journey, and having people connect with you, which is, I think you're right. I think you're right that people may connect with me in that way. They do connect with me in that way, but maybe it could be more pronounced.
Yeah, I'm interested in who you are, your story, even like what made like making videos 5 years ago. Yeah. Like, why did you do that? What has the journey been like making yours 5 years ago versus today? Yeah. Like the growth you've had as a creator, pushing yourself past the boundaries, and like the story of you in first grade having to write essays every day for 2 months, and like, all those things that make you who you are, I'm interested in. And
but the clips are not enough. It's making content about those stories.
You can do clips. You can do clips, but you can make, I don't even know if necessarily video. Like, I haven't made a video about that. I prefer to deliver it in text form. But the goal, like the idea behind that is you have people rooting for your journey. For like, they want to root for you as a person. Versus they just consume your content. Yeah,
I don't focus on the text a lot. You're right.
And I don't want that to take away from what you do best, which is making videos. But like, I think it is a skill, and I'm still working on like that aspect of it too.
Because obviously people write texts that go viral, right? Yeah.
Twitter allows you to have this text vertical that's interesting. Nick is leaning more into the video stuff. Like, he's just doing video. He doesn't do the personal stuff. And that's his choice. That's what he wants to do. So it's not like this is the way, but I think it's a thesis I'm kind of working on that I think is interesting. And we'll see how it goes.
Oh, it makes sense. It makes sense. And I feel like, but I do feel like through the podcast, if people really want, like, I feel if like people really want more content from me, they can sit and listen to this, right? But I guess like maybe it's like a different type of content.
It's a different type of content, and it takes an hour of someone's day.
Yeah.
Versus the podcast is the end. That's for the Gabriel Haynes super fans. Yeah. Like, the guys that freaking love you. Yeah. Right? But you need to build that bridge in order for them to get there. Right? And right now, there's your videos.
I feel like it's a short form, but you're like in the middle, you can make something
that's... You can sprinkle in some more of that.
You can, in the middle...
Some more of that juice.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I did post about I had cancer. I mean, I did have cancer.
Really?
When I was 19, yeah. I did post about that when Ansim called someone a cancer patient or something, like a chemo. You look like you're on chemo or something. He did apologize for it, so whatever, it's fine. But I posted, like, you know, a picture of me when I was sick. Pretty much what you said. Yeah, I did get engagement, but, like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's what's I guess, yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily about it getting. I don't know. It's a whole, and I'm not like the expert in this,
Yeah,
by any means.
But it does, like, what it does do is that I do have certain views about that topic that people. It does start a conversation, and people did reach out to me after I did post that, and, like, they said, "Oh, I was sick, or I am sick, and you know, I'm going through this treatment now." So that does have value, and that does connect me to people in a way that's, you know, not me yelling about Kumi, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess you're right about that. You're right about that. I got to storyboard some of those.
Yeah, you got to storyboard it up. You got to script it. Make sure it gets juiced by
Elon.
Yeah.
So what time is it here? Well, about 2 hours in. I think we can wrap it up there. But yeah, you want to leave us with any last thoughts?
No. I mean, it's as far as myself goes, just gonna keep fucking around in this world that's video content, and like, how insane is it that we get to sit down on this type of, like, recently I've just been kind of shocked by it, that, like, we get to travel and we get to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, you are an inspiration to be more authentic, be more like doing things that, like, people know is inside of them, but that they're, like, scared to tap into, right? Like, everyone has this version of themselves that's inside of them. You are just the one that's tapping into it. So it's cool, man, and it's inspiring for me to try and, like, do what I can to bring that out a little bit, and I've been trying to.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Clemente, thank you for taking the time today.
Absolutely, man.
Let's shoot that workout video.
Let's go.
All right. That was fun. Thank you.